Listen, you, my listener, are a helper to other members of the public and to other listeners. And you can do that. You can think of the other. You can think of helping other people by using us, taking advantage of our multimedia platform at 92.7 Nougat Radio. We are Nougat Radio, and I'm David Toulis. We are live at 92.7 FM, 92.7 FM, and also 95.3 HD4. That's high definition. For the quality of the audio is so rich that we can, if we traced out all the different sound effects in that segment, we could detect the bobbing of the host's Adam's apple in a separate graph line. It's so rich and so deep, and that's HD, high definition, reaching out about 65 miles from our powerful pen, our tower atop Signal Mountain. And I'm David Toulis, the blogger with the biggest pen, and I want you to help me. I want you, my listener, with a smartphone to make records of things and pass them along to me. And you can do that by emailing it to me through Nouganomics. That's Nouganomics.com, our sponsor, or yournews.com. Yournews.com, that's our other sponsor. But email me through Nouganomics and just contact me that way. It might be the easiest way to reach me. David Toulis, your host here, the blogger with the biggest pen, the smartest guy with the bow tie. Now, there are other smart people in the Chattanooga area. One of them is Jamichael Parks. He is a truck driver, and I have him on the phone right now from Chicago. He just yesterday was taking up to Chicago a tractor trailer full of Q-tips and Zantac supplies for a major retailer. And he's probably already gotten his orders for this morning to come from Chicago back to the Chattanooga area. His name is Jamichael Parks, bachelor, 33 years old. And Sunday, he was smart enough and, let's say, bold enough to run a camera phone, a smartphone, and put in view of the lens a member of the good people. That is to say, a member or members of the Bradley County Sheriff's Office who were arresting and harassing and, well, intimidating, if you will, some young men at a car parked by gas pumps at a gas station in Bradley County. Jamichael, what happened Sunday?
Well, my cousin and I, Terrell Parks, had went to a gas station after working out, and so-called happened to come across an investigation scene that involved a few of our family members. So we had pulled in completely away from their investigation scene and had got out, walked up to the store on the sidewalk, the only entrance to go inside of the gas station. I looked over there to my cousin. I had asked him, like, hey, is everything okay? But yet then again, like I said, we never approached the officer, the investigation thing, or anything. My cousin yelled at me that was being detained, that they were okay. And then Officer Dale Liner, he's the sheriff down at the Bradley County Department in Cleveland, Tennessee, he actually looked at me and told me to mind my own business in foul language. He told me to mind my own business and go back into the gas station, And I looked at him. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right, because I did not want to engage, with this particular office, because he was already, just handling his business completely out of line, and it was shady. So as we proceed to walk back into the gas station, he's staring at my cousin that's with me that we pulled into the gas station that didn't have nothing to do with this. He's staring at him, threatening him, telling him, oh, you're a tough guy. My cousin has not said not one word to this officer as he's approaching us as we're walking into the gas station. Has not said one word to this officer. He's staring at him. So my cousin's smiling and laughing at him. I don't know if that got under his skin or whatnot, but, he proceeds to tell my cousin, oh, you're a tough guy. Better get your ass back in that store too, son. So at this time, I'm halfway in the store. So I said, Terrell, the way he's going about this is totally wrong. I said, where is your cell phone? That's the only reason why I went to go get his cell phone, because I felt safe. He was already doing crooked things before we even showed up. So I went back out to my cousin's car, nowhere near the investigation scene, to get his cell phone. As I went back to get his cell phone, soon as I got the phone from this card, I'm recording from a distance. I'm starting to record. And there again, like I said, this particular store has only one entrance, in and out. They usually keep the other door locked 24/7. So as I'm walking back towards the entrance of the store, I'm recording what's going on. And this officer approaches me and takes my phone, tells me that I can't be recording. I don't have permission to be recording. Then they try to hit me with disorderly conduct as I'm walking back into the gas station. I'm walking back into the gas station. He approached me. He took my cell phone. He detained me for two to 3 hours. He detained me for completely no reason and talked down on me in offensive language to where I felt threatened. And so after I had been detained,
you've been arrested.
I was detained, like I said, for 2 to 3 hours. He sat there in front of me, used offensive language, foul language. He called me ignorant. He called me pretty much everything in the book, just about everything in the book. And everything he did was totally wrong. He violated me as a person. He violated my civil rights, false imprisonment, numerous things. But the county has with the same officer. So after he had detained me, he talked down on me, told me, you know, he's going to make it to where he's going to take me to jail tonight and make it to where I don't even have a bond. You know, that's what he told me. Like I said, he was threatening me. And then, you know, he's questioning everybody, you know, that was there before we even, you know, pulled up. And eventually, he let everybody go. You know, he started, you know, coming down, started being a nice guy. And let everybody go because technically, like I said, nobody did anything. We had absolutely nothing to do with it. So him approaching me, confiscating my phone for recording, you know, what to seem to be an investigation scene, which I did not interfere with, not once, which the video clearly shows it out there. He still approached us and started trouble with us. And
how many other deputies?
And like I said, you know, it was totally out of line.
This is David Toulis. We're talking with Jamichael Parks. Hang on a second. We're talking with Jamichael Parks. Thanks for joining us. David Toulis here. We're talking with a man who was arrested. He was held in handcuffs for as many as 3 hours on Sunday for using his phone to record a harassing encounter between Deputy Dale Liner. He is one of Sheriff Eric Watson's deputies, and others involved too. Apparently, I'm going to ask you about them. And that was Sunday, and he was Jamichael and his cousin Terrell Parks had driven up to a gas station. They saw some relatives, young men who were having a very threatening encounter with Deputy Dale Liner, according to Jamichael Parks. And also Judy Walton has a story today in the Chattanooga Time-Free Press, which I suggest that you, my listener, read. How many other officers, Jamichael Parks, were involved who stood by as Dale Liner led this profiling courage?
There had to be at least about five to six officers, if not more, out there. And they just stood back and they just let him proceed to what he was doing. They didn't say nothing at all, any of that. You know, they didn't stop him, any of that.
Were you read?
They let him, you know, do what he was doing the whole entire time. Which I mean, they knew as well as we know it wasn't right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They never spoke up, not one time. Not one time.
So you're suggesting there's complicity by the other officers to the one that you might say the leader of the pack, Deputy Dale Liner, who spoke to you, who approached you on your camera. That part has been published. You've had about 25,000 views on this video as of yesterday. Jamichael Parks, were you read your Miranda rights or warned not to say anything that might be used against you in court, Jamichael?
No, not once at all. You know, and I have families that work, you know, in the police force. Once I started recording, not once did he tell me to step back, you know, or anything like that. He just literally approached me grabbed me, took my phone, and detained me in cuffs for absolutely no reason.
Did he say again? You mentioned a moment ago, Jamichael Parks, that he had mentioned disorderly conduct. Did he elaborate on that? Did he say what it was you had done that constituted that charge?
There was another officer. I'm not for sure of his name. He's in the video. It wasn't Dale Liner that said that. That was another officer that said they were going to get me for disorderly conduct. I guess supposed of taking in the video. You can clearly hear it. He was like for taking photos without their permission, video them without their permission. That's what I'm assuming he was going to charge me with that for disorderly conduct.
Well, let me ask you this: did you need to have permission, Jamichael, in your understanding of your rights? Did you need to have permission to make a video of this encounter at the gas station in Bradley County?
No, not at all. Not at all. There's no
so you're saying
at all.
You're saying, Jamichael, that you have a right to make a video. You have a right to do it, so long you are not interfering with their activities.
Absolutely.
Well, why? Let me ask you this: Why, in your mind, was it important to make the video in the first place? Why did you feel compelled to do that, requiring you in a way to approach them, and you had to kind of walk toward them, which Dale Liner evidently thought was dangerous to him, perhaps? Why did you feel the need to make the record like that and not just make a statement afterwards?
Because he was taking it. He was taking his power and abusing it, and this is not the first time. You know, we see this type of stuff all the time. But he was using his power and he was abusing it to the fullest, and that's why I recorded, because everything he was doing was not by law at all. Everything he did was not by law. Before we showed up, no. After we had got there, and even before we had showed up, everything he did was not by law. And there's more to this story than what people are saying on this video. You know, like I said, that's why I started recording, because I felt safe and I knew it would change his tune once I started taping him the way he was doing people out there.
But it did
do people out there, especially the people that are complying and the ones that don't even have anything to do with it.
What did your relatives, I guess your cousins, Jamichael Parks, the men who had been seized initially before you drove up, before you traveled up in your car, why were they being questioned? What did you find out about them?
Yeah, my cousin that was detained there, him and a few other family members were had actually come from an auto parts store buying some car parts. And there was a lady officer in there also buying car parts for her patrol car. And they had exchanged words, one of them did, with this particular officer, but the officer had told them, they had, smelled like marijuana. So the officer had told my cousin, I don't have time to be worried about somebody who smokes marijuana. I got bigger things to do. I'm in here trying to get my headlight fixed for my patrol car. So as my cousin then proceeds to leave this auto parts store, I'm told by my cousin, that was there pulled off. He tells me the woman had to radio another officer in that area, sitting in that area, to harass them. So they leave the auto parts store. They go down to Harry's gas station. They're already parked, walking into Harry's gas station. They had to get a radio call from that particular officer from that auto parts store. And as soon as they got out of their car walking up to Harry's, that's when they were detained for absolutely nothing. It wasn't even a traffic stop. That's the part everybody's missing. He detained them, searched them without probable cause. He didn't even pull them over. They were walking into a gas station when he harassed them.
So the officer the female Bradley County Sheriff's officer hired by Sheriff Eric Watson had a comment about smelling marijuana on someone's clothing, having a vague scent of marijuana in a public place in a store, and then she's busy tending to her headlights so that she can be seen at night, and so she calls the dispatcher and says, "Hey, dispatch somebody to trace down young men in an XYZ type of car they may have marijuana on them. So she is effectively giving the probable cause for an arrest. I mean, that's presumably what happened. So did the officers who stopped your cousins there at the gas station before you arrived, did they have a warrant for search, or did they search anybody or anybody's personal effects? Jamichael Parks?
Yeah, they searched them all. I'm not sure if they had a search warrant. If I had to, honestly, I don't think they did.
Probably not.
Yes, they searched them.
Yeah, a search warrant has to be signed by a judge, and that would take an hour or two.
What's that?
I say to get a search warrant, there has to be a signature of a judge, and they didn't have a warrant, so they probably had just probable cause on suspicion, some kind of suspicion. Since the gas station stop was 2 minutes or 5 minutes after the departure from the auto parts store.
Correct. It was literally right down the street from that auto parts store where they had got detained at.
Well, what happened when you were? I want to hear a little bit. Now, please mind that we can't repeat certain words here on the radio. But what kind of language came from the mouth of Dale Liner? What kind of things did he say? Did he talk about your ancestry? Did he talk about your body? Did he talk about your skin color? Did he use words referring to sexual activity, or what kind of abusive language did he, or excretory activity? What kind of language did he use, Jamichael? Without repeating them.
I mean, do you want me to
like the F word? Did he use the F word? Because that's a popular one.
What's that?
Did he use the F word?
Okay.
Or the S word?
When he had detained me right there in front of the gas station, he sat there in front of me. He said, "You just had to be an effing Billy badass." He said, "You got to be the dumbest, ignorant person I know to want to be a Billy badass." And that this whole time, I'm just sitting there and I'm hearing him out because I know I have not done nothing wrong. He sit there and talked down on me for about 10 to 15 minutes.
What else did
he moved me to the patrol beside the patrol car.
Please tell me what else he said. Jamichael, what else did this officer say? What kind of conversation did came from his mouth? We want to hear this, please.
He was telling me, you ain't allowed to start filming during an investigation scene. You were impeding on an investigation scene. You got to be the dumbest, ignorant person I know to want to do something like this. Are you trying to be a Billy badass? What he was telling me. And then he moves me, and then he's still talking to me when he moves me. And that's when he starts to tell me, I'm going to make it to where tonight I'm going to take you to jail and you ain't going to have no bond. By this time, I'm not even saying nothing to him. I'm being short with him. I'm telling him, okay, just do your job. Then he's like, well, you know what? You keep up talking. I'm going to just take you down to Chattanooga. Like, take me to jail down in Chattanooga, which, like I said, at this time, I'm just being short with him. Okay, just keep doing your job. So, pretty much, like I said, he talked down on me for probably the whole time I was there, the whole 2 hours. He talked down on me with offensive language.
Like you're just a piece of.
He covered everything in the book, but pretty much the N word, which I'm pretty sure he wanted to.
Did you ask him, Jamichael, did he have his recording device on? Did you ask him about that? Was he filming this? Was he recording this?
I didn't see it, but that don't mean it wasn't on his body. It wasn't on his body. Yeah,
I don't know what Bradley County has by way of recording device, but that's something that you should definitely have an open records request for pending litigation. So he talked down to you like you were just a piece of black trash. Is that right? You're
pretty much.
You're just
much,
nothing. You're just a lowly person.
Son of a bee. Yeah. This guy a son of a bee, just trying to tear me down for no complete reason. No complete reason, and that's not professional. You just can't talk to nobody. Because you got a badge, you cannot talk to nobody like that, especially somebody that has absolutely done nothing.
And I wonder how many calls of important crimes and other things he had to give up by holding you and detaining you for 2 hours. What other police work, valuable police work, he failed to do or could not provide in the way of service to the public in detaining you, Jamichael Parks. I wonder.
Right.
And detain and having tied up Sheriff Watson's other resources and these 5 or 6 other officers for 2 hours, that just seems That just seems very exciting, very extraordinary in Bradley County.
Yeah, it is. He had no business roughing me up like that, detaining me, any of that. He had no business, no right, any of that. And my brother ran a checkup on this same officer. My brother, he's an officer up there in Chattanooga. He ran the same checkup on this officer. This same officer has had complaints before. They just have not done anything about it. The same officer, Sheriff Dale Liner, he's had several complaints, and they've done absolutely nothing about it.
You have filed an administrative complaint with the Division of Internal Affairs with the Bradley County Sheriff's Office. Is that correct?
That's right. I'm supposed whenever I get back, my brother and I were actually going to go over there and give a statement to the Lieutenant Shoemaker when I get back to Cleveland.
This is David Toulis. We're talking with the truck driver, Jamichael Parks, who on Sunday was arrested seemingly without probable cause because he was doing what you, my listener, should be doing, and that is making a record of encounters you have with the good people here in Hamilton County and Chattanooga. He's heading back with another load. He had gone up to Chicago yesterday or the day before with supplies of Q-tips and Zantac for a major department store chain, and is coming back. And his name is Jamichael Parks. He's 33, a bachelor. And in the video that you can see, TV9 had a good report about this, and Judy Walton at the Times Free Press also has a good report about this encounter Sunday. You can see Terrell Parks and other relatives in the Parks family under the gun. They're under inspection, under investigation by a mass of blue in Bradley County. This is David Toulis. Jamichael Parks, thanks very much for talking with my listener and me today. Thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate the time.
This is David Toulis, and we are wanting you to think about this whole matter of dealing with the officers. The officers are the party who are supposed to uphold the law. They are the party who are ostensibly the protector of the right, the protector of the innocent, the shielder of women and children. And here we have by widespread report, and by some videographic evidence, we have evidence of an abusive encounter where the officer is threatened by the record. He's threatened by inquiring eyes, by inquisitive spirits, which I'd say has to motivate really anyone who runs his camera during an encounter, either between himself and a cop or among cops and other people. And the man with the camera, just the witness. I think you, my listener, should take up our mantra, and that is: you report and the world decides. This is David Toulis, 927. We're live on Facebook every day. And on Facebook, just click the radio plug-in button on the left. It's about the third line down on the left column, and you can stream all of our shows all the time. We have Sean Hannity. We have at 1 o'clock a terrific Bloomberg program, Policy, Politics, Power, and Law, and the Market Show at 2. We are a great live station, the CBS radio affiliate here. This is David Toulis. Local economy and the free markets is my argument. Now, I've got some important messages I'd like you to hear. And remember, patronize all of our advertisers and love them. David Toulis.
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.